And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We carry on our special coverage on Nile TV International, and we have with us over the phone to give us more information and enlightenment on the current escalation happening in the Middle East. We have with us over the phone Mr. Ambassador, His Excellency Moataz Ahmadein, the Egyptian former representative to the United Nations. Good evening to you, Mr. Moataz.
Good evening, Mrs. Yahya. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for being with us on Nile TV International. Sir, as you can see, the escalation happening right now in the Middle East, and the Egyptian leadership is working extensively to make sure the region does not slide into further chaos. And President al-Sisi has been making several phone calls with his counterparts to ensure that the situation is supported by the Egyptian authorities. What's your take on the current efforts?
Well, it is obvious that the United States has been manipulated by Israel in order to strike Iran, and also to encourage Iran to hit back at the Gulf states. Because if you remember, in September, Israel did attack Doha, and this destroyed the theory that Iran is the main threat to the region. Now Israel and the United States have baited Iran to retaliate in the Gulf states in order to revive this lopsided theory that Iran and not Israel is the main threat to the region. Yes. In my opinion, this of course is very negative, and Iran finds itself stuck in the corner, and this is why they did attack everywhere. But again, they should show restraint with regard to the Gulf and Arab states, which are the natural allies of Iran, yes, and concentrate their retaliation on Israel. And in this case, if they reach Israel strongly enough, like in June, this might stop the war. Otherwise, Israel and the United States do not care, but on the contrary, they would be happy if the war is between Iran and the Arab states.
Yes, sir. Basically, the U.S. and Iran, they launched their strikes today, and it seems that the region is heading towards the unknown. And as Egypt had been the root and the stabilizer of the region, as a traditional peace seeker in the region, what can the Egyptian leadership do right now with the diplomatic toolkit that it owns to make sure that the region does not fall further into destabilization?
Well, as you mentioned, there are calls between the president and his counterparts in the Arab world. There have been calls as well between the Minister of Foreign Affairs and his counterparts in the Gulf and in Europe. But the problem is bigger than that, because the United States has asked Egypt before to mediate with regard to the nuclear program of Iran, and Egypt succeeded in a mediation in August to convince Iran to restore the verification by the International Atomic Energy Agency. But both the United States and the European countries let Egypt down and resumed sanctions against Iran. And during this current escalation, in the last couple of weeks, yes, the representative of President Trump, Witkoff, has called the foreign minister and asked him again to speak with his Iranian counterpart in order to encourage negotiations. But the United States keeps letting down its allies and exploding. The situation has exploded as a result of the manipulation by Israel and the reckless behavior by the United States, as it is unfolding right now.
Yes, Your Excellency, the 54th anniversary of the 10th of Ramadan victory was only yesterday, and with right now the attacks is coinciding with the same time. What's your opinion on Israel picking this time exactly to carry on its second attack on Iran?
I do not think that Israel has been thinking about that. They are not even respecting their Sabbath. and they are attacking on a Saturday. But if we look at what happened in 1973, this gives us a very important message that Israel does not stop unless it is deterred, unless it is faced with equal force in order to withdraw, because otherwise they would have been occupying Sinai until now. This is why I believe that the retaliation of Iran, if it is concentrated on Israel, we might have a chance to stop the war. Otherwise, the war is going to escalate, and it will have devastating effects not only on the Gulf countries, but on the whole global economy. The oil prices are going to skyrocket. The navigation in the Red Sea and across the shores of Iran and the Gulf would be interrupted, and this will cause a major global economic crisis, not less than the one that has been caused by the war in Ukraine or even the COVID pandemic 5 years ago.
Yes, so Your Excellency, one more thing. President Donald Trump, he said in a video posted on social media that the U.S. have begun, of course, the major combat operation in Iran, and he asked the Iranian people to overtake their own governments. And Netanyahu added also that the action will create the conditions for the brave Iranian people to take their destiny into their own hands. They're attacking Iran to bring diplomacy and freedom to their countries, but they're also saying that they are attacking Iran because of the nuclear program and plans to develop missiles to reach the United States. What exactly is the plan of Israel and the United States?
Since 1979, both Israel and the United States are looking for regime change, of course. They are finding pretexts, whether in Iran exporting the revolution that was in the 1980s, whether on the nuclear peaceful program, by the way, that is safeguarded by the IAEA, unlike the Israeli hostile and unsafeguarded military nuclear program, or the missile capacities, or the allies of Iran in the region. Now they are talking openly about regime change, but I believe that they are in a huge miscalculation, because they are trying to push back the son of the late Shah, Reza Pahlavi, which I believe does not have popularity in Iran because of the atrocities perpetrated by the intelligence services of his late father, the Savak.
Yes.
Who was known of cooperating with CIA and Moataz, and even the Shah regime was considered as the policeman of the Gulf against Arab states in favor of Israel and the United States. So this is not a realistic option. And as well, I do not think that Iran is as fragile as they think, and we are going to see how the events will unfold and assess the situation later on.
Your Excellency, what do you think is going to be the reaction of the GCC countries that fell under attack from Tehran in retaliation to the attacks from Israel and the United States?
Well, unfortunately, I think both Iran and the Gulf countries have bitten into the bait that Israel and the United States have put to them in order to turn Iran against the region, or and just obscure the negative role of Israel that is sowing chaos in the region. This is problematic, of course, because here the United States and Israel are going to come back and try to milk the Gulf countries and ask them for money for protection against Iran, which is completely contradictory and lopsided, because the real threat and the rogue state in the region is Israel, and the rogue state in the international system is the United States.
Yes, sir, finally, as you know, lots of airspaces have been shut down in several countries around us in the region, and the Egyptian Ministry of Aviation said it is closely monitoring the situation in coordination with the concerned bodies, and the air traffic in Egypt has been crowded with all the cancelled flights and rerouting. Domestically, we would like to know your opinion on how the management of the situation is going to be like, especially with the crisis chamber at the cabinet has been activated to monitor the latest developments around the clock.
Well, as you mentioned regarding the aviation routes, I think here Egypt has a role to play because it is relatively remote from the field of operations. But if we look at the broader picture economically, Egypt is going to suffer if the war stays for some time, because the traffic, the maritime traffic through the Suez Canal is going to be affected. Oil prices are going to get higher, and this will, of course, constitute another blow to Egyptian economic recovery efforts. This is why maybe you have mentioned that there is a crisis committee within the government in order to
monitor the latest developments, yes.
Yes, the developments, of course, yeah.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for being with us on Nile TV International. We had with us the former ambassador to Egypt, representative to the United Nations, Mr. Ambassador Moataz Ahmadein, and he gave us more updates on the current escalation happening in Egypt, and we are confident in the wise Egyptian leadership to carry out us through this matter and safely, and we are going to be recovering fully and perfectly from this escalation. Stay tuned for more.